On the 13th of April 2023, the police in Malindi received a shocking report of ignorant people starving themselves to death in order to meet Jesus at Shakahola Forest. According to the report, the people starving themselves had been instructed to do so by one Pastor Paul Mackenzie of the Good News International Ministries. The police started their investigations immediately. They sent a team to go inspect the Shakahola Forest. What they thought was a simple trace and rescue mission turned into the discovery of the worst mass suicide case in the Kenyan history. Welcome back to the Insight Edition. My name is Yusuf, and on today's episode of Criminal Diaries, we are going to look into the controversial story of the killer pastor, Paul Mackenzie, who starved over 109 followers of his cult to death. Unknown to many, Pastor Paul Mackenzie was once a humble taxi driver in Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya, before being moved to Malindi by his sister. At Malindi, Mackenzie tried with a lot of failure to preach in churches that were already there. His teachings and sermons landed him on the wrong side of the law 4 times between 1997 and 2003. Mackenzie married Joyce Mwikamba, and together they got 7 children throughout the years of their marriage. The Good News International Ministries was founded by Paul Mackenzie and his wife Joyce Mwikamba in the year 2003 as a small church. The prosperity of the church made the couple to move to Migingo village in Malindi. Throughout the years, Mackenzie was able to acquire a huge following by convincing people that he could personally hold conversations with God. Pastor Paul Mackenzie earned himself a lot of wealth after members of his cult, while following his teachings, sold huge percentages of their wealth and brought all the proceeds to him. Shockingly, this isn't the first time Pastor Paul Mackenzie and his controversial ministry have hit news headlines and even rubbed shoulders with the law. Back in the year 2017, Mackenzie and his wife were arrested and charged with promoting radicalization, denying children access to healthcare and education, and running an unauthorized school and TV station. The Kenya Film Classification Board closed his TV station the following year. Still in 2017, several kids died after being denied access to healthcare. Another group of 93 children were rescued by the government authorities from Mackenzie's church. Mackenzie was in trouble again the following year as he got arrested for inciting school-going children to quit school since it wasn't biblical. Shockingly enough, Mackenzie got released as there was no enough evidence to prove him guilty. In the year 2019, Paul Mackenzie earned himself a place behind bars after being caught discouraging the public from taking Huduma number. He was also accused of brainwashing and abducting young children to join his cult. The support he got from other churches that followed William Branham's teachings assisted him to get free again. After this incident, Mackenzie claimed that Jesus instructed him to close the church since he had finished delivering the message. It is not really clear when Paul Mackenzie brainwashed his followers into starving themselves to death in the name of meeting Jesus, but the first reported case of minors dying as a result of this practice was on the 17th of March 2023. It is alleged that 2 children, Seth Hinzano and Evabra Dito, were starved and suffocated by their parents, Isaac Ngala and Emily Katunga, after getting advised to do so by their pastor, Paul Mackenzie. Paul was arrested later on and was charged with the murder of the 2. He was released on a bond of 100,000 Kenyan shillings as investigations were still ongoing. In early April 2023, a concerned husband and father informed the police of how his wife and daughter never returned after leaving Nairobi for Kilifi County in order to join Mackenzie's remote commune. While still on the same breath, Another call was made to the police, this time a whistleblower informing them of how a group of people were fasting and starving themselves to death at Shakahola Forest after being instructed to do so by Pastor Paul Mackenzie. The police jumped into action. They went into the forest. In mind, they knew it was going to be just a simple trace and rescue mission, but when they reached there, their perception of the mission turned really fast. When they entered the 800 acres forest land owned by Mackenzie, they found emaciated people lying around. The presence of shallow graves really shocked them. 15 members of the cult who were in a very poor condition were rescued. 4 of them died while on the way to the hospital. The rest stated that they had been ordered to starve themselves to death in order to meet Jesus. Over the following weeks, the police continued to search the 800-acre piece of land, finding more shallow graves and some survivors. Most bodies recovered from the graves earlier on were of children. Some graves had more than 5 occupants who were alleged to be members of the same family. Some bodies were not even buried at all. Indeed, it was a sight that was straight out of a horror movie. The victim story that shocked many Kenyans was that of Betty Agenta Charles and her 9-year-old son, Jason. Betty is alleged to have quit her highly paying air hostess job in Doha, Qatar, sold everything she had for over 7 million shillings, gave the money to Paul Mackenzie, and joined his cult just weeks after her own son, the 9-year-old Jason, is believed to have been starved to death by her parents, who are senior members of Mackenzie's cult. Betty's sister, Constance Chow, also quits her military job to join the cult, and it isn't known yet whether the two are alive or dead, as none of the bodies exhumed have been identified as theirs. Their brothers' whereabouts also remain a mystery. As of the 29th of April 2023, the investigating officers were still in Shakahola trying to find more bodies and also rescue the cult members who were found alive. The death toll was at 109. Those who were rescued alive were 39, and 410 more people were still missing. While issuing his statement on the Shakahola massacre, Kenya's President William Ruto stated that Paul Mackenzie is a terrible criminal and a terrorist who used religion to advance his heinous acts. He said that Mackenzie belongs in prison. Paul Mackenzie is currently being held in police custody after surrendering himself when the Shakahola raid began. He will be arraigned in court very soon. After the discovery of Paul Mackenzie's heinous acts, Kenyans demanded for all flamboyant televangelists to be investigated and all their wealth and its source to be made transparent. The first one to be investigated and later on arrested was Pastor Ezekiel Odero of the New Life Prayer Center, who got himself behind bars on the 27th of April 2023 after being suspected to be killing his own followers. Over 103 people were evacuated from the premises of New Life Prayer Center and Church owned by Ezekiel, and they are expected to record statements. The Insight Edition will be following on this case closely and give you updates whenever there is a new development. So make sure you have subscribed in order to be the first person to get updated. The case of Paul Mackenzie is indeed shocking and horrifying. But what if I told you that down in the history of Africa, another cult which was founded by a Catholic nun named Credonia Murinde brutally murdered over 1,000 people, making the incident the world's worst church mass murder? Check out her full story here, and as always, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. Thank you for watching.